Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video and I have a double page spread happening here. I have this somewhat unusual page configuration on the left side here. So I have two 3x4s and a full 3x8. And then on this side I have more of a standard 6x8 pocket page. This is probably going to be the biggest challenge, is finding a 3x8 card that works with what I have going here. I do have this one little thing picked out that I want to use because this is the Renaissance period and there's red in it, and so I figured that was appropriate. But this will be the biggest challenge, so I need to pull out all of my 3x8s, both travel related and just general, to see if there's something that would work here. And I don't really care if there's room for journaling. It could just be a saying, because I have journaling for other things that are part of this visit to the Met. This is the main Met now in New York. So I don't know that I need to say a lot about it. So if there's a little bit of journaling room, great. If there's a phrase that covers the whole thing, that's totally fine. So at least it does give me some options. In addition to this, I do have my whole bag of museum and history related phrases here in the event that I need to dip in there for something else. And I see there are several red, so that may be helpful. I could also do a gray because there's a lot of silver happening, or maybe brown, sort of tannish, because there's this, the floor sort of has that coloring. So I have those two. I also have all my general New York stuff. Not sure that would necessarily fit here, but I have them. So I'll start with that and see how it goes. So I've pulled out all of my 3x8 cards here, and you can see I have built up quite a lot of them. For a while I really didn't have that many, but more and more manufacturers are starting to make these, and a lot of digital files are available, and that's really what I prefer, because then once I buy them, they're mine. I can reprint them as often as I like. So I just need to go through here and see, do any of these work with what I've got going? If not, I could always cut my own piece of 3x8 pattern paper and put embellishments on it, or get creative in my own way. But I'd love it if I could find something in here first. All right, I have looked through that stack, and I was hoping maybe I would find something with red, but I only had a few in there that had red on them or were based mostly red, and the phrases or sentiments on there didn't really work, so that was out. But I found three things that I'm considering. This one, which is just black and white, I love it that it just has a huge phrase. This is ginormous, that could go in there, and that's it. That's all I'd have to do. Obviously, I could put this on there or something, or I could find little red embellishments, maybe something between here, or some washi or along the side or something. It would be super easy to use that one. And then I have this one, which would require a little bit more work. That's because of this. But I love the idea of maybe incorporating a photo there. And I looked at these to see if I could cut some down to fit, possibly this one. But I think I have other photos from this exhibit, so I could go into my photo files and see if there's just something else I could print that would fit in here. But I like that it has all of these different spaces. It would allow me some journaling, but not overly so. That's a pretty decent amount of space. And then I don't necessarily need date and time, because I have that elsewhere in here, so I could cover that up if I wanted, or I could use it. I have options. I like this though, because I was thinking like I could just do Met in alpha letters there, which might be fun. And again, black and white, so I could add red to it if I felt the need. And then I have this, which is just background paper, but I had it already cut to a 3x8. So I must have been thinking that I would use it as a background somewhere. And I like it because it's kind of medieval looking. I love the pattern that it's got there, that there's some marble gray, which is fitting to a museum type setting. And I love the silver foil. It matches a lot, of what you're seeing here on these suits of armor. So I think these are all fine choices. I just need to decide what kind of feel do I want the layout to have. I am going to go into my other photos and see if there's something here. If there's nothing, then that kind of eliminates this probably, and it will narrow down to two of the three. I don't know. So I will go do all of that, and then I'll be back. When I went into my photos, I found two. that were additional to what I have here. And I have printed them out. I used the Project Life app to put 2 on a 4x6 here so I could choose. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be this one because it will make a more bold statement in here. And this one is very similar to this, so I'm sure that's why I didn't originally choose it. However, it has more color. So I could switch these. I could move one of these over here, move them around so it's not right next to this. But I'm just going to cut them both down, place them in there, and see which one I like better. So when I cut the photos down, I did end up liking this one a lot better with how it looked with the layout. So I've cut it here, and oddly, it's not a uniform size. Top to bottom, it's slightly less than 2.5 inches, but side to side it's perfectly 2.5, so it's kind of a weird size. So I had to really pay attention to how I cut it down, but now I have it nicely sized so it'll fit right in there. And when you put these up next to each other, I do like the way that looks better than the other one. The other one was just kind of a repeat of this, so not really fun. So I'm going to attach that there. Then I want to work this in somewhere, and I'm wondering if I should cover up the one that says photo number, because I don't need both of these and it would fit nicely in there. I could still put another embellishment next to it or something. I feel like it would work better down there than here because I have a lot of red going across here, but if I put it down here, I feel like that's a better mix because there is no red in here, and here it's, very little maybe on their jousting sticks here. That's kind of it. So I feel like that would be better placement. All right, I've adhered both of those, and I feel like maybe I want another phrase or something to cover up this. And I might actually, rather than have it line up perfectly with the red one, I may actually have it go flush left all the way to the edge of this, just so they're not directly stacked on top, and there's a little variance there. So I'm going to go into the lovely bag of museum phrases here and see if I can find something in gray, black. I don't know that there's anything really in yellow, but maybe this kind of tan color, maybe that will work here to blend this all together. I have found 2 other phrases that I like, and they're both in this sort of yellowy mustard tan color. This one just says hashtag exhibitions, which certainly would work. The only problem is it's a little bit smaller than where these lines are. I would do it. I'm not super crazy about it, but it's not enough to stop me from doing it. So I have that. And then I have this other one, which is huge. I'd have to cut it in 2, but it says historic preservation, which is what they're doing. They're preserving history here. So if I used it though, I'd have to cut it so that historic was right underneath. And that's pretty much a perfect fit in between those lines. So I'm leaning towards that. And then preservation would fit underneath here when I cut it like so, trying to get it to line up there. So it would go end to end if I wanted it, or I could clip this off to have a little white showing. So this one gives me a little bit more freedom in how I do it, but I do like them both. So again, I think I might cut this one down. I do have extras of it, so if I don't like it, I can save it for something else. It won't totally ruin it, but I'll cut it down and see how I feel about how that looks as opposed to this one. When I cut that down, I decided I did like it, and so I put these on here. Also added a little staple, and I like that these are all offset. They're not perfectly stacked up, but they still kind of go flush on one side or the other. But now I feel like this is too blank here, so I've pulled out 2 things I might use. I have this little set of puffy stickers, and a lot of these are like super modern, but there is one that just has a camera, so I might do that one and just put it in that space. I also have these from Ellie's Studio that are just asterisks, and I could certainly do one of the black ones right in here to take up some of that space. When I held up both of those options to the card, I felt like this camera over here was it was too modern. It didn't really go with the theme. This is obviously very medieval Renaissance type stuff, so I wanted to stick with that. So I just used the generic asterisk one, and I'm happy with the way that looks. And so this is how it will be on the layout. And so then these two photos that are in the corners, I feel like maybe I need to do something with them. This one I could maybe get away with leaving it alone because there's lots of busy things happening here. But without anything on this side, it feels flat. So I think I need something up here in this space, but I'm not sure if that's going to be another museum phrase, maybe a stamp, or another puffy sticker, just something. So I'm going to go on the hunt for that right now. I have decided to do some stamping on this photo in this dead space right here. And I'm going to use this set. This is an older one from Kelly Perky / Paper Person, as the company is known now. This one's from 2020. It's called Tour Guide. No idea if it's still available somewhere. But this is one that I love because this is stuff I tend to do when I travel. I do a lot of museum stuff, historical site stuff. That's just kind of my jam. And so I love this one. And you can see it's been used quite a bit. I'm going to use this one that says Self-Guided Tour. I did my stamping there, and this was my test. I used StazOn ink just to make sure it would work on a slick surface because this is a glossy photo. And as you can see, it did not stamp perfectly here. It's a little fuzzy around the edges, and I think it's because of the surface of this particular photo. And I don't remember if I did MPix or Nations Lab for these, but you can see they use Kodak Professional Endura paper. I have noticed this sometimes happens on photos that I get from those two places. What I have found is actually the best is when I print at home on glossy 2 paper made by Canon. Whatever that surface is, it holds the StazOn ink really, really well. So if I decide over time that this bothers me, I'll just reprint this at home on that paper and restamp. But for now, I think it's doable as is. So I put those photos back in the pockets to decide if I wanted to do anything else. And I think this one is done. I don't really feel like I need anything over here because there's a lot happening on this insert. Plus this is a busy photo. And you know what? Not every pocket needs something. I'm not somebody who needs to embellish every single thing on a page. So I think this one is complete. Here's another one done for New York. Thanks for watching.